From the podcast Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk, it's Grant's Rants Small Talk.
6 Japanese actresses who could and should replace Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell. So, do you know what this movie is, Grant?
It's a movie that's coming up. This question comes actually from a listener that wants us to discuss this. Scarlett Johansson's cast in a film with a role that is, quote, very Japanese. However, they eliminated that large aspect of the character and put a blonde chick in the role. And so there's a lot of controversy.
It's a voiceover role.
Oh, really?
Isn't it? Am I crazy? Is it not animated?
I don't know.
I didn't think that it was.
LOL, we don't watch film.
Yeah,
we really don't.
No one here watches movies.
I do. I go to the movies. I saw The Jungle Book last night. It was fantastic.
I saw The Boss, and that was the first movie I've seen since Star Wars. So that's as often as I go. Once, like, every 5 months.
Either way, I think that if it is a character that's been represented as Asian in these comic books or whatever it is, I think, yes, there should have been an Asian actress given the opportunity to be in the role. I had a friend when I was working on America's Got Talent. One of my coworkers, she is an actress, Filipino girl, and she was telling me how like only 3% of Screen Actors Guild is made up of Asian actors and actresses because there's just such a limited opportunity, such limited representation. Who's gonna do that? It's because there just aren't those jobs for them, and it's so unfortunate. And the reason there aren't those jobs is because a lot of these roles are whitewashed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do that because they want a name like Scarlett Johansson, or Kerry Washington is playing a role right now. People are upset that she's not as dark-skinned as the person that she's playing. This happened with Emma Stone being chosen to play a half-Japanese character. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And they do that because they need someone's name on the billboard because they think it's going to sell more movie tickets. And while that is wildly inappropriate, I mean, it's big money, it's business. There's a whole lot of things that are unfair.
I feel like Ridley Scott may have said this. I forget because I'm uneducated. But when they had that Christian Bale, Joel Edgerton film.
Was this Gods of Egypt?
Gods of Egypt. It was like that. It was like Kings versus Prophets or something. I saw it. It was actually very good. Everyone was angry because they were like, this is an Egyptian story. You should be hiring Egyptian actors. And he was like, yeah, in a perfect world I would, but I'm trying to sell box office tickets, and if I put a bunch of nobodies on the screen, you're not going to show up and watch it. But he had Christian Bale, which is why I went. So, yeah, it would be great if we could tell stories the raw, real, authentic way that they were represented in the past, but, like, we're just all trying to pay the rent.
Yeah, I mean, it is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a business with a lot of investment.
And when you have a person like Scarlett Johansson, like that Lucy, for example, did not do well domestically. It was a hit overseas. Mm-hmm. And international audiences went and watched the film because she was in it. So there's a reason that they're casting her in this. And it's not just, they're not only thinking about our audiences here because traditionally American box offices don't do well anyway. We make our biggest money overseas. We just don't tend to care about how our movies bode overseas. It's just not something we talk about.
I mean, the general public doesn't, but the movie industry's woken up to that.
Yeah.
More and more of the big films are premiering overseas first. They're premiering in China.
Yeah, but no one is. When you go on Deadline, you hear like, "Oh, this movie did 80 million globally, 12 million nationally." So they didn't. So people just, it's dumb. I don't understand it. I've asked people in like the Ren Track world. That's a movie interest / box office number rating system. I've asked these people like why if we're profiting so much overseas does it matter if The Boss didn't do The Boss did okay. It didn't do as well here as they had wanted it to. Internationally, it was a huge hit. Mm-hmm. But we were like, oh, it didn't do like Deadpool did. Well, I mean, so we're underwhelmed by like the numbers here. And all we hear about is people complaining on Twitter, oh, this is racist. But it's really just about, in the end, like, what money you bring home. And so these big directors, and studios, they don't care about your feelings. They put Emma Stone in Aloha because people would go and see Emma Stone in Aloha.
Yeah, but I still think
I agree that they should cast. I think if the character is African American, cast someone African. That's how I think.
Right, and
Right.
no one is using
But-
the excuse of like, well, no, there wasn't any good Japanese actresses. Like
Right.
they're not making
It's
that
a cop-out.
distinction.
I think sadly we care about the money more than we care about the principle of the matter.
Exactly.
Of
That's
course,
it. It's
I
all
would love
business.
these Japanese actresses to play the role, even if it's voiceover, whatever. 'Cause I'm not going to see it anyway.
Right.
So I that's what I want for the fans, for people that feel slighted or underrepresented. For the 3%, I want it. Do I think it's realistic? Sadly, I don't,
Right.
because of the industry we work in.
Exactly. That's it. It's real. It's all business for us people.
It's
There
not
are-
show friend, it's show business.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, from my opinion,
It's
the
cutthroat.
people I see making decisions on things like this are not creative minds. It's all bottom line minds. Mm-hmm. So that's where the mentality is.
This has been Grant's Rants Small Talk. Want more? Join the full conversation on Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and in the links below.